The date is May 31st, 2025, a date now etched forever in the annals of Paris Saint-Germain. Tonight, under the bright lights of Munich's Allianz Arena, a dream was not just realized, it was seized with breathtaking dominance, PSG with a narrow, nervy win, but with an astonishing 5-0 demolition of Inter Milan. This was more than a victory. It was a statement, a declaration that a new powerhouse had truly arrived at the pinnacle of European club football. The journey to this moment has been long and often frustrating for the Parisian giants. Fueled by significant investment and boasting star-studded squads over the years, the Champions League trophy had remained tantalizingly out of reach. But tonight, all those past disappointments were washed away in a flood of goals and a display of sheer superiority. The weight of expectation, which had seemed to crush previous PSG iterations, was instead converted into a driving force. The scenes in Munich were of pure, unadulterated joy for the French contingent, a stark contrast to the disbelief and dejection etched on the faces of the Inter Milan players and their fans. As the final whistle blew, it signaled not just the end of a match, but the beginning of a new era for PSG, an era where they are no longer just contenders, but champions of Europe. The Allianz Arena in Munich, Germany, provided a fitting stage for this grand occasion. A modern marvel of stadium architecture, it glowed under the evening sky, ready to host its 5th Champions League final. There was a sense of history in the air, as Munich had a peculiar habit. On each of the previous 4 occasions it hosted the final, a first-time winner had been crowned. This omen perhaps offered a subtle hint of the extraordinary night that was to unfold. Leading up to the final, both teams arrived with impressive form, though their narratives differed. PSG, guided by Luis Enrique, showcased a dynamic attacking style throughout their campaign. Inter Milan, under Simone Inzaghi, were the experienced campaigners, known for their tactical discipline and strong defense. The atmosphere inside the stadium was electric. Tens of thousands of fans, draped in the blue and black of Inter and the red and blue of PSG, created a cacophony of noise and color. The stage was set for heroes to be made and history to be written. From the very first whistle, Paris Saint-Germain exploded out of the blocks. There was no tentative probing, no cautious sparring. Instead, Luis Enrique's men played with a breathtaking intensity and attacking flair that immediately put Inter Milan on the back foot. The movement of PSG's forwards was fluid and unpredictable, their passing crisp and incisive. The Italian side, renowned for their defensive solidity, found themselves struggling to cope with the sheer pace and creativity being thrown at them. The breakthrough came early, a just reward for PSG's assertive start. In the 12th minute, the Allianz Arena erupted as Achraf Hakimi found the back of the net. The goal was a product of quick thinking and youthful exuberance. The 19-year-old sensation Désiré Doué provided a clever assist, unlocking the Inter defense. Hakimi, PSG's dynamic right-back, made no mistake with his finish. The early goal visibly energized PSG further, while simultaneously sending a wave of concern through the Inter ranks. Just 8 minutes later, in the 20th minute, the name Désiré Doué was on everyone's lips. The teenager who had assisted the first now turned scorer. At 2-0, PSG were in dreamland and Doué had etched his name into history. For Inter Milan, the first half was a chastening experience, a brutal awakening on the grandest stage. Simone Inzaghi's side, typically so well drilled and resilient, appeared uncharacteristically rattled by PSG's early storm. Their famed 3-5-2 formation, which had served them so well throughout the season, was stretched and exposed by PSG's rapid interchanges and intelligent movement. The wide areas, usually a source of strength for Inter with their wingbacks, became avenues of attack for PSG's pacey forwards and overlapping fullbacks. The early concession of 2 goals in just 20 minutes was a body blow from which they struggled to recover. The experienced Inter defense, featuring stalwarts like Francesco Acerbi and Benjamin Pavard, found themselves in unfamiliar territory. The sheer speed and creativity of PSG's young attackers, particularly Désiré Doué, proved incredibly difficult to handle. Offensively, Inter Milan were largely nullified in the opening period. Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram, a potent strike partnership, were isolated and starved of service. PSG's relentless pressing, orchestrated from the front, meant Inter struggled to build from the back. The Allianz Arena, which had buzzed with anticipation for a close contest, now watched as one team had firmly seized control. Any hopes Inter Milan harbored of a second-half comeback were systematically extinguished by a Paris Saint-Germain side that showed no signs of letting up. If the first half was about PSG's explosive start, the second was a demonstration of their sustained dominance and ruthless efficiency. Luis Enrique's men returned to the pitch with the same hunger and intensity. They continued to press high, control possession, and probe for weaknesses in an already beleaguered Inter defense. The third goal arrived in the 63rd minute, effectively ending the contest and further highlighting the brilliance of Désiré Doué. The 19-year-old sensation grabbed his second goal of the night, a composed finish following a perfectly weighted through ball from the ever-impressive Vitinha. This goal was a dagger to Inter's heart, deflating any residual optimism and sending the PSG fans into raptures. In the 72nd minute, it was Khvicha Kvaratskhelia turn to etch his name onto the score sheet and into the history books. The Georgian winger, who had been a live wire throughout the match, received a slick pass from Ousmane Dembélé. The final flourish to this remarkable performance came in the 86th minute. 18-year-old Seny Mayulu, a homegrown talent from the PSG academy, came off the bench to score the fifth goal. Luis Enrique, PSG's astute manager, deserves immense credit for orchestrating this historic triumph. The Spaniard further solidified his reputation as a master tactician, maintaining his perfect record in major club finals. This victory marked his 8th win in 8 attempts across various prestigious competitions. One of the defining features of Enrique's PSG this season, and particularly in this final, was his unwavering trust in youth. The starting 11 that dismantled Inter Milan had an average age of just 25.3 years. Enrique's tactical flexibility was also key. Enrique's man management skills, combined with his tactical acumen, have clearly unlocked the full potential of several players within the PSG squad. While the entire Paris Saint-Germain team delivered a stellar performance, the impact of their young talents was particularly striking and pivotal to their historic 5-0 victory. This was a night where PSG's without a doubt one of the standout players of the final. His contribution of 2 goals and 1 assist was simply sensational for a player of his age in a match of this magnitude. Then there was 18-year-old Seny Mayulu, a product of PSG's own academy. Coming on as a substitute, he showed no signs of nerves, instead capping off a dream night for PSG with a well-taken 5th goal. The youthful energy was not limited to the goal scorers. PSG's young lions did not just play, they roared, leading their team to a historic triumph. Beyond the exceptional young talents, several established stars delivered commanding performances for Paris Saint-Germain. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian winger with a market value of around 80 million euros, was a constant threat with his dazzling dribbles and incisive runs. Ousmane Dembélé, valued at approximately 75 million euros, demonstrated his remarkable resurgence under Luis Enrique. Achraf Hakimi, the dynamic right-back whose market value stands at 65 million euros, set the tone for PSG with his early opening goal. The defensive spine of PSG, marshaled by captain Marquinhos and goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma, also deserves immense praise. Donnarumma made several important saves when called upon, exuding confidence and command in his area. Marquinhos led by example, his experience and composure vital in guiding a relatively young backline. The 5-0 victory for Paris Saint-Germain in the 2025 UEFA Champions League Final was far more than just a single match result. It was a landmark moment in the club's history and a significant event for European football. Winning their first ever Champions League title fulfilled a long-held ambition for the Parisian club. This triumph elevates PSG to the elite pantheon of European champions, finally shedding the tag of perennial contenders and becoming undisputed kings of the continent. As the confetti settled on the Allianz Arena pitch, it was clear that Paris Saint-Germain had not just won a trophy, they had redefined their identity and carved out a glorious chapter in the rich tapestry of European football history.